Hi, everyone out there. Hello, Brahmas. Welcome to our second roundtable for Wellness Wednesday. Our topic this week is social media. So it's something that pretty much all of us are using, right? Maybe even now more than ever, now that we are the only way to connect to people right now is really through technology in many ways. So we're just going to have a discussion today about the benefits of social media, maybe touch on the dark side of social media, maybe a little bit of self-reflection on how we personally use social media and any changes we want to make with our social media use in the future. So the first question we're going to throw out today to anyone out there, why do you use social media?
May
Go ahead.
I started using social media. I use social media at first to just follow the trends. I remember the first social media platform I got was Musically when I was like 9 on my little iPhone 5, the little tiny one. I was just so excited to like make stuff and share it with everyone. And I had a lot of fun on it. And then later on, especially with like Instagram and Snapchat, it was a lot more to like communicate with other people because a lot of my friends have Androids, and so like I can't really like text them on like iMessage. So it's mainly just sharing what I have to share with the world and communication.
Thank you. Ava, you had something to share?
Yeah, so I use social media more so to communicate. Definitely, especially for my relatives and friends who don't live as close to me or they're not within the Diamond Bar area. I think it's a good way to keep people posted on how you are and how you're doing as a person. And it's a good way to see how your friends are as well and just to check up on them. And as well, I think for social media, it's been a good way to inform younger teens, especially my age, about the more worldwide issues that are going on because we don't necessarily tend to look at the news. So, yeah.
Thank you. Eunice.
I was just going to be straight up and say I use it for entertainment a lot of the time too. Like, of course, I do use it to communicate and share my opinions and voice my opinions. But a lot of the times it's also to entertain myself when I have free time.
Anyone else would like to add on to that?
If I could add on to Ava's point about kind of keeping up with like what's going on in the world. Like I do watch a lot of like CNN with my mom, but I know a lot of people really don't really watch like news stations, especially because they've been proven to be a little unreliable at times. But I follow so like it's like Instagram for me personally is a good like platform for activism, because my parents haven't let me go to a lot of like protests, so I try to do a lot of like my personal activism online, like sharing posts, because there are a lot of like accounts that just keep you updated on like what's going on in like DC and like what's going on with like everything. So I think that social media is a good it's an easy form of activism that everyone can do. There's less of an excuse not to get involved.
That's a great point, Eden. So kind of leading into our next question, how do you guys filter out who you choose to be influenced by on social media? So obviously you have a choice of who you follow and whose accounts you're going to follow. How do you decide who you're going to follow or who you let follow you? Go ahead, Ava.
For me, at least, it's honestly just on personal preference. Like, if I stumble upon someone's page who I don't know, and if I like what they're posting or the content that they make, I'll follow them. It's persuasion, you could say. I think that's honestly a big thing of it is just personal preference and what you like. Also, you can follow people who you believe will influence you as well. Definitely. More positive people too, and Instagram users. But yeah.
Anyone else is welcome to jump in.
On social media, like Instagram, I think I like to follow people who are just like my family or friends, or like maybe if they like align, like if politically I like what they're putting out and it's not like harmful to any certain groups or anything. I like to follow people like that. And also like informative groups that like can put out information that I could know things for politics, and like I could like get understanding of better understanding of government, because like I feel like it's hard to not understand things, and I think it's helps a lot to be able to use Instagram as a resource to like hear other people's sides of things when it comes to politics.
Thank you. Annika, you had your hand up?
For me, I have my account on private to like be safe on social media. And for whoever's requesting, I just look at theirs to see if I know them, and then if I know them, then I let them follow me, and I follow my friends and my family too. But for entertainment, I follow like volleyball accounts, like the ones from college, like USC volleyball or just anything like that. But yeah.
Thank you. Justin and then Nikki.
So I follow people who like line up with my interests. For example, I like magic and artistry, and like so I usually just follow like magicians. And then for the people who I choose to follow me, they're usually my friends or people that I know personally.
Thank you, Justin.
So like most people on sorry.
No, I was just going to say that Justin was breaking up a bit, but you talked about how you follow for your own interest, especially you follow topics related to magic, and what was the second one?
And cardistry.
Cardistry. Okay. Thank you, Justin. Okay, Nikki.
Sorry about that. But the people I choose to follow, I try to be influenced by positivity. So like, since if I have like a break from work or like homework or something, I choose to go on social media to be positive and motivated to do more things, and also like everybody else to be entertained and followed by family and friends.
Thank you.
How do you guys, some of you, it sounds like you just have close family and friends that follow you, and then others have maybe like a broader network on social media. So does that play a part in what you put out there on your accounts? Like those of you that maybe have more followers, how do you decide like what's safe and what you want out there about you? Or those of you like to share a lot, and is that maybe why you have a smaller group of followers with just family and friends? Any thoughts on that?
I'd like to say something like so the other platforms that people were using, like Instagram, Snapchat, like that kind. I do a different type of social media. In my opinion, I stream, and for this streaming, you're broadcasting to the world. You're letting everyone like come into your basically to your show. Like you show everything around you, and so for me, what influences what I put on there or what I show all depends on what my audience is. I know my audience are people like me, and they just come to talk to me or watch me play games. And so I always try to keep a nice background. I know people appreciate like nice backgrounds, and I try to present the best version of myself for everyone to see.
Thank you, Christian. Maya.
Kind of adding on to what Christian said, I have a bigger like following on like social media, not like family and friends. So usually I kind of like think like if I didn't want my mom to see it, then I wouldn't put it out there. Or like if I didn't want my little sister to see this, then I wouldn't put it out there, you know?
may I add something?
Yeah, go for it.
So I want to be like a performer when I grow up. I want to be on like a lot of like musical theater, like just recording stuff like that. So I do a lot in terms of like business opportunities. I follow a lot of like theater accounts where it's like, oh, like do this and you can win like a private lesson with this Broadway actor, stuff like that. So I try to kind of keep my account, like I try to keep it like me, but I also try to keep it professional because I do have a public account on Instagram. So if like a possible like if like a casting director were to look at my account, they'd be like, oh, would I want to cast her in this next production? Like, you know, I want to keep it like me, personalize my account, but I also want to keep it professional.
Can I add on to that comment? So the exact same thing also happens like for streaming when brands are looking at your stream, they want to be able to make sure that your stream is brandable and like so when I'm accepting sponsorships, those are the kinds of things that I would want to look at is would the brand want to sponsor me and is my channel safe enough where they're safe enough to put the brand on my channel. So I completely agree with that.
Yeah, you guys all bring up some really great points. Like Maya, I love what you said about if mom or a little sister, like if I didn't want them to see it, I wouldn't put it out there. Because essentially, whether you're public or private, what you put on your social media page, you're putting out there for the world to see. And you're saying, this is me. This is what I stand for. This is what I stand behind. And even if you're posting it at 16 years old, you don't know that that's not going to show up again when you're 40 years old or somewhere down the line in your life. So I think that is a really good kind of mental check to do before you post anything is this really representing who I am? And is this something that I'm going to be comfortable standing behind for years to come? You guys made really good points there. What do you guys think about the whole, I think it's pretty common knowledge that most people on social media are posting like a highlight reel, if you will, of their life. You're not posting the things you're sad about. You're not posting the things you're embarrassed of. You're not posting the things that you're anxious about. You're posting the best moment of your day or the coolest trip you got to go on, or you know what I mean? And so there's a lot of this FOMO that happens when you're scrolling through and looking at other people's pages and you think their life is so great and so perfect. And how come mine isn't that way? What do you guys feel like that's a real thing? Do you feel like that's getting better? What are your thoughts on that?
If I may, there will definitely always be a sense of FOMO when you see a bunch of like awesome stuff that people do, but just people only posting the best parts of their life, that's not entirely accurate, at least nowadays, because I know on like Instagram and TikTok and like places like that, on YouTube as well, like there are a lot of like creators, like whether they be big or small, but a lot of like creators have kind of been a lot more open with their personal lives and their struggles and how they can help their viewers. So they do post a lot about the good stuff in their life, but they also do post a lot about the bad things in their life. Like this is completely different, but they're like, you see a picture of like someone going to like a really good resort for vacation, but then next you see someone falling off their skateboard and landing on their face. Like you see a lot of stuff that makes you feel a little bad about yourself, but you could also see a bunch of stuff that can make you feel good about yourself, which neither sound really good, but like, yeah, there's a light and dark to it.
Thank you. Maya and then Ava.
Kind of like adding on to what she said, I think there is like a good and the dark to it. Like I feel like for me, I do feel that like, oh, like they're on vacation to here, they have like this. I try to like keep a mental check, like this is this person's highlight reel. This is not who they are. So I shouldn't be comparing myself to a highlight reel because this doesn't showcase their entire life or the entirety of them. So I try my best to just keep that in mind.
Thank you.
Can I talk? Yeah.
Go for it.
Okay. I agree with both of them completely about the whole 50-50 light and dark thing, especially. I think that standard applies mainly to celebrities and people with bigger followings, because you see like kids my age looking up to celebrities, all of them, and seeing them going on these fantastic trips, having all this money, having all this fame, people loving them so much. And you have this incentive to be like, I want that, or you can it can either be motivational to you, or it can completely go the other way. You can take it as, I want that, I want to work for that, and I want to work hard for that, and I want to be like them, or you can also take it as, why don't I have that? It's kind of looking at the glass half full or half empty, so to say. So then again, it always just like depends on your mindset, as long as that, having all these famous, luxurious, materialistic items don't really matter as much, as long as this person is showing their real authentic self. That's the only thing that really matters.
Thank you, Ava. I think Anna and then Eunice.
So I wanted to say that I completely agree with what everyone has been saying. And I also wanted to add that in addition to that, a lot of times when we see celebrities, it does occur that way. But when we look at the posts of our friends and family, the close people in our lives, it's also kind of nice to see the highlight reels, and you sort of feel uplifted with them in a way. And so it's even though if you see that enough from a lot of people that you're not really familiar with, if you see happy posts from people that you're close to, it can also be something that uplifts both of you.
Thank you, Anna. Eunice?
Yes. Okay. So I just wanted to say to the people watching the stream, that FOMO is fear of missing out, just in case you didn't know. And then also, because I was some people don't know that. My mom didn't know. So then also, I was just thinking about what Ava said. I think it's really just about personal mindset. I think it's just, how content are you? I feel like being on social media, you can't you should know that everything that you see to some extent is filtered, is it's real, but in a sense, not everything is shown, not everything is showcased. So it's just a mental mindset of contentment with where you're at yourself. So I think that's a big thing that helps me when I think about other people's picture perfect social media lives. I'm kind of just but I'm happy with where I'm at personally. So
yeah, you guys bring up so many awesome points. There's this movie out on Netflix right now, The Social Dilemma. I don't know, has anyone seen it? Just raise your hand. Anyone watched it? No, it talks a lot about how social media, we don't have a lot of control. It's really controlling us as the user of their product. But you guys have such a good perspective on it, where you do have a choice here based on who you follow or who you let follow you. And yeah, I think Maya, you said this, if you're scrolling through someone on this amazing vacation or this amazing great thing that just happened to them, they might have had a really bad day yesterday, and they just won some really cool award, and they are so excited and they want to share that with the world. But yesterday might have been a horrible day for them. So keeping that in the back of your head and kind of putting things in perspective, it kind of does show that we have more control with social media than we really think we do. So I want to switch a little bit now to the amount of time that we invest in social media and that we're spending on different social media accounts. Have you guys ever added it up or thought about how much time you've spent? And you don't have to share details, but are you comfortable with that amount? Do you feel like it's too much? What do you guys think about that? Go ahead, Maya.
I definitely spend a lot more time than I would like on social media. I mean, because there's TikTok, Instagram, added up, it's just not a good number. And I just, even knowing this, I feel like the way we grew up with technology and with social media in a sense, I'm addicted to it. Like they said in Social Dilemma, it's we grew up with this. So even me trying to stop stop going on TikTok for like hours every day. It's really hard. And I just wish I could do that. Like, it's getting better, but I just think it's really because we grew up with it.
Yeah, you don't really know any different because since you got your first phone, you've probably had social media, right? Anyone else want to add to that?
Kimberly and Ava had their hands up.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say like I spend like Maya, I spend more time on social media than I would like, but I think it's because it's kind of like a wormhole. Like when you start scrolling on there, you're just like captured with the content, like especially on TikTok. TikTok, you could just be like, you're like, oh, I'll just like watch these like couple more videos and then I'm done. And the next thing you know, you're on there for like the next hour. It's just like I don't know, it's just like the content social media provides for us is like what keeps us like going to keep like spending so much time on a day. Like, I don't know, it's just, yeah.
I completely agree. I spend so much time on social media and my phone in general, but social media a lot of time, especially on TikTok and Instagram. And I definitely agree with that. We grew up with the social media, so I think we always have this tend and desire to, oh, I gotta check my social media, or, oh, I gotta check this. And like it's always in our daily routine, especially too, since we're always on our phones now. And plus our phones we can literally do everything on our phone. So it's such like a, oh, I gotta go like check my social media. It's such like in our routine thing. And I truly do wish that I would be off of my phone and social media less, and I wish I would spend more time outside. But at the same time, I try.
That's you bring me to my next question actually, Ava, is do you guys feel like you're missing out on anything in your life because of the amount of time that you're spending on social media?
Go ahead, Angie.
So my family is always like, oh, wow, you've finally come down from your cave without your phone. And I'm like, oh, be quiet. But then that screen notification pops up and says, you have averaged this many hours on your phone this week. And I'm like, I guess they're right. So I've been trying to take more of my time to spend time with my grandparents and my parents, because I know that does not last forever. I went on a walk with my grandma, which is really nice. And it's really nice to kind of escape for a little bit and not missing out on like family life and so many things that you can do with your family, especially in quarantine. Quarantine's got us all like huddled together here and we're all stuck. And you just want to go on social media for like hours and hours. You want to do that, but when you actually escape from that and spend time with your family, it's really fun and very nice. I do recommend it.
Maya, go ahead.
Yeah, adding on to what Angelina said, I think it's the same goes for your friends. I know you can interact with your like friends and communicate with through social media too, but like recently, like I've kept like a small like COVID group or like really small group of friends that like we see each other so that we don't like, I feel like I never would like they took me and we just played like a bunch of like games in the park and like basketball and like all like bag and hide and seek, and it's like, why did I not do this earlier? Feeling.
Maya, we got part of that, but you broke up a little bit. Do you mind writing in the chat box everything that you said so we can just kind of get some of it? Okay, thank you. And then anyone else want to add what they think they might be missing out on? Go ahead, Eden.
There are a few things that I feel like I might be missing out on, but for me personally, This doesn't really answer the question, but I feel like social media has helped me kind of realize a lot of what it helped me find a lot of different hobbies to kind of keep me busy during quarantine. Like social media made me get a ukulele and I play like every day. What else does social media made me do? It like helped me find a bunch of different stuff that I never would have realized that I were interested in otherwise. Ugh, words. Anyway, that's it.
Thank you. And I think Nikki had something she wanted to share.
So I feel like with so the time that I spend on social media, I feel like I could be spending more time with my dogs or maybe just hanging out with my family since my parents both work like most of the day in during COVID-19 still. When they're actually home, I'm still on my phone, and I wish like sometimes I'm just like dinner is dinner, so we all have to like no phones, no social media, and that's like the one time that I get to cherish. And I'm just like, I wish I could do that more. But then it's like, as Kimberly said, it's like a wormhole. So then you kind of just get dragged into there, and it takes time to get out of there. So yeah.
It does, and it's hard. It's very difficult. Does anyone have any tips that they could share for how they use less time on their phone, or how they finally get themselves out of that wormhole and put their phone down and go do something else? Or how they just use, if they want to start using less time on social media, how would someone go about that?
Okay. So I know this is really obvious, and like I've heard this before when because I don't spend like an absurd amount of time on social media, flex, but I have a lot of different hobbies that I like. Like I like to draw, I like to play music, I like to cook, and like if nothing else, just get off your phone when your eyes start to burn and your head starts to like throb. Like please take care of yourself first. That's really it.
Thank you. And then Isabel, you had something to share?
I was gonna say for the what we're missing out on, that's something like big. What I've noticed is like I guess like everyone said or Nikki said, like family time. Like I've noticed that like I've been missing out, like since I got social media, or I've been missing a lot of like family time. Like for me and my cousins, like when we were younger, we'd always like just we'd like go outside and like play and like run around, like play tag, have like hide and seek or whatever. But like since we got like social media and everything, I would notice like every time they would come over or we'd all hang out, it'd be like we'd hang out, talk for a bit, and then
I don't know who's recording on Zoom.
Got it. Okay. I think we're good again. Sorry, Ms. Zimmerman, go ahead.
It's okay. I just like looking at you guys' numbers, and then of hours that you think you're on social media, and then the hours that you would have to put to school, and then the hours you should be sleeping. It doesn't add up. So do you guys find yourself, actually it's over 24 hours. So how do you turn yourself off at night? Because I know a lot of it is at night when your brain needs quiet to be able to go into sleep and to be able to get to REM. So how do you shut yourself down at night?
Some nights I listen to like guided sleep meditation, and that helps because it really gets you like relaxed and you'll fall asleep quickly. So I think that helps.
I actually do the same exact thing. I make sure to be off of my phone by at least 11:30, the latest. And I turn off all the lights. I put my phone face down, that way I don't see when a notification gets popped up, so I don't have the urge to check it. But I do the same thing. I play music very like quietly, and I just kind of go to bed. But I definitely agree that social media and homework take up a lot of the time as to why kids do not sleep.
With the guided sleep meditation, same. I also do that. It's really relaxing and really fun, really nice to do. I also read books because that also helps wind you down a little bit. And my phone has a do not disturb mode from like a certain hour to a certain hour. So I won't get notifications at night while I'm sleeping. So I won't hear like a to-do in the middle of while I'm trying to go to sleep. So that's pretty helpful. Also during school, do not disturb.
What are some of the things during that time, that really harsh time, what were some of the things that you did to cope through that? Like, when did you know, okay, I need to let people know about this? Because I'm just concerned about things like this happening to kids and then they don't reach out to anybody. So when did you know, like, I need to let my mom know, or I need to let a teacher know, or I need to let my counselor know? What are some of the things that helped you get through that really difficult time? That's one
Most
question.
definitely.
Another question is, how did you deal with the fact that you never knew who this person was? How did you let go of that?
To be honest with you, it still boggles my head, like, here and there, but it's not as, like, my attention's not always focused on it. It was hard. I honestly didn't want to tell anyone because I didn't want to seem like an attention seeker. I didn't want to be like, I didn't want to use these posts to like the highest advantage I could and use it for attention, so to say. Be like, oh, look at what these people are posting about me. Feel pity for me. I didn't want that at all. I didn't want attention to be drawn to me about it, because it was just like very annoying, you could say, and repetitive, always having the question asked of what happened, what was wrong. I mean, obviously for this it's okay, but in regards to telling an adult or someone, I did not want to tell my parents my GLC. I didn't want to do any of that. It was more so my friends that told me, like, hey, like, because what ended up happening was they would direct message me on Instagram, and, you know, they would make numerous accounts of like pages just talking a lot about me and my friends. But it was really once started to talk about my friends and spread fake things about me, that's when I realized, you know, hey, maybe I really need to tell my GLC or my principal or parents about this. And then when I realized I had to take it to a further extent of going to law enforcement is when I got a physical note in my locker telling me, believed to kill myself. But that put me into a very big reality check of, okay, this is really serious. Like, someone literally is obviously watching me because they know where my locker is. So maybe I do need to take attention to this. And in regards to not knowing who the person is, I kind of got tired of wanting to know. It was more towards March. We were supposed to go to court for it. I had to go to court in order to find out who this person was and to get their IP address. But at that point, I straight up told my parents, I was like, honestly, I'm really tired of this whole situation. I just want to be over. And they're like, you don't care, like, finding out who it is, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I do, for the sake of safety of others and them hurting other people. But at the same time, I don't know if it would have been good for me to find out who that person was either, because especially if it was a close friend of mine, which that's something I take a lot of pride in, is my friends and who I choose to hang out with. That I feel like would have hurt me a lot more low key than those words. But yeah.
Thank you for sharing, Ava.
Yeah, such a great perspective you have on that now, Ava, and so helpful for so many people that are listening right now. So thank you so much for sharing that.
So yeah, thank you so much. So tough. So thinking of, moving away from that, all that negativity, how do you guys reward positivity that you see in social media? How do you encourage people to use it in a positive manner rather than in a negative manner? How do you encourage people to build each other up?
I think, oh, sorry, if I could talk first. I think one way to encourage other people to be positive online is being positive yourself. Because if you kind of like bring onto your platform like negativity about other people or negativity about yourself, then it's kind of like, because you know what they say, like, the things that you do rub off on the people around you and vice versa. So like the people you hang out with like rub off. And so I think it's the same with your social media presence. If you're constantly putting out positive things, then people are going to want to keep looking at your looking at the content you put out. And then they're going to want to do that same thing for another person because it might have helped them in some way. And so I think you can reward being positive online by reposting something that helped you, or just being that positive person to begin with.
If I may continue out onto that point. Yeah, I completely agree. It's just like I pride myself on being a very honest, like just authentically positive person. And I remember, not to like be like, oh, look at me, I'm such a good person, but I remember one time, one evening, I put on my Instagram story, hey, drop your name and I will send you like a personal like chat about everything that I like about you. And there were a lot of people that I never realized really needed that affirmation. And so it just made me really happy to kind of let these people know how awesome I think they are and why I like them. So, and I just want people to know that I'm here for them and that they could always like, and that like my friends do that too. Like I know so many people that are just so openly there for everyone. And it's just that we need to be there for each other, especially now. So just being open to everyone is a good thing.
Thank you. Ava, you had your hand up?
I 100% completely agree with Eunice. Definitely that is a big way. I think that's the biggest way to spread positivity, as long as you spread it within yourself. I am one to do that a lot. I spread my positivity through humor too. And yeah, through love and affection. So like randomly, especially throughout quarantine, I always will send like random snaps here and there I send it to literally all of my friends on my Snapchat, and it's just basically a hey, hope you guys are doing well. If you want to vent or you need anything to talk about, I'm always here. And it helps me too, being like spreading this positivity and getting it back. That helps me and motivates me to do it more and to spread it more. And I hope that it motivates my friends when they get these snaps from me, at least. And yeah, I always motivate people, and I always want to make people happy, even if I don't know them, because the littlest thing can make the biggest difference. And it's such a cheesy and cliche thing, but there's so much truth within that statement.
Kimberly.
Like Ava, I do spread my positivity on social media through humor, which is why like I like go on TikTok, because like that's the way like people can like spread positivity to one another. And also like what I noticed is that there's this like account on Instagram, it's like the DB positivity account. And like I noticed my friends like will submit me, and like to return that that positive affirmation, I will like submit them, and then I noticed that people keep the chain going, which is which is really good. And like that's how we spread positivity, especially since there's like a lot of negativity on Instagram, like the like accounts, like, and that's not good. So I kind of really like the DB positivity account, like how we keep a chain going to like uplift and spread positivity to one another.
I really like the DB positivity accounts too, because I think at first a lot of the kids in our grades think, oh, it's cheesy, like, oh, it's like a positive account, like, oh, no. But the more people who are coming back onto it and be like, hey, this is actually nice, like, it's actually really nice to receive those affirmations. I've received 2 of them myself, and they literally made my day, and I was having a horrible day, I remember. And they really help a lot too. And I think those accounts, they take you kind of by shock, because you would be like, really? Like, some kids at my school would make this account and like they want to do this? Why don't I add to it, So it's kind of like a bandwagon, you could say, but I really like the account too.
That's awesome. Yes, it's a really cool thing. And for those of you who aren't connected to that account, you can always just send that nice comment directly to your friend too, or to whoever it is. But yes, we need more positive accounts to combat the negative ones for sure. Before we start to wrap up, any other last comments or anything that anyone wants to add? Go on to your ukulele performance, Eden? Just kidding. Okay, so just to kind of sum up, I was taking some notes as you guys were talking, just to kind of wrap up everything. Social media is here. Like you guys mentioned, you're the generation that has grown up with it, and it's not going anywhere. But we have choices, there's a lot of good in social media. You can learn how to play the ukulele. You can stay more connected to your friends, especially in a time like this. You can learn new hobbies and new interests, become more socially and politically aware and involved. But there's this dark side too. And it sounds like awareness and just kind of educating yourself on that dark side, really filtering out who you follow and who you allow to follow you is an important piece of that. putting limits, either, I know if you have an iPhone, you can actually set a timer. Someone mentioned they have this on their phone, where you set a limit for yourself for social media each day, and then it kind of pops up if you've met your limit for the day. Also, making sure that we choose real relationships and experiences over social media. We don't want to miss out on those real moments because we're so connected to this thing. And also, I forget who said it, but it was so great. Be an example. Like, if you want social media to be a more positive place, make sure your account is an account that's positive. Make sure the comments that you're writing on other people's posts are positive comments that are uplifting and not negative. So I love that. And I forget who said that, but just being that example of a positive source on social media is so huge and so important. Mr. Lim, anything else you want to add before we sign off?
No, I just want to thank the participants. I mean, we value your opinion and what you have to say. I'm sure the rest of your school community will definitely benefit from your honest conversation we had. So appreciate it.
Thank you guys so much. I know that as educators, we learned so much from you guys today. And I know that all the students that are going to watch this are going to learn a lot from you all too. So thank you tons, and have a wonderful week, you guys.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
It was good seeing you.